Alright, so I'm here with Ketchup, winner of the main event from Mortal Monday 3,
Hello.
all the way from Europe.
Yep.
So, how you doing on this fine morning? That's a fine night for me.
I think half asleep, and I've got a really bad cold, so I should be alright.
I'm about half asleep too, but for entirely different reasons.
It's morning. It's morning for both of us, and it's the early hours of the morning.
But yeah, you're in the reasonable hours of the morning.
I'm in reasonable hours.
Yeah. So, you play Sector,
Yes, do.
as your name would suggest. So, this raises the question: why did you pick Sector, and why did your brother pick Cyrax?
Hand on heart, actually, it was pure coincidence. I mean, it was like back when we very first played MK3. You know, generally when you pick up a new fighting game, you won't know the tiers, you won't know who's good and who isn't. You would just generally go with the character you think looks the coolest.
Of course, yeah.
Must have just saw Cyrax when he was younger and saw this like yellow robot and thought, oh, he shoots nets, I'll pick him. And I just saw a red version and went, oh, I'll be that red one then, that's cool. And then literally that's just how it went.
I think that's kind of how I was.
It was hard. It's hard stuff being a Sector player from Mortal Kombat games. He's only just recently been in one, and he was like, he was in MK3, and then I didn't have a Dreamcast, so I didn't play MK Gold, and then there was just nothing on the Sector front till Armageddon.
That's true, actually. Yeah, he was well because I'm just such an MK nerd. There was MK3, MK Trilogy, if you count that, MK Gold, which I guess technically counts as an iteration of MK4.
There's that Game Boy Advance game he was in.
That's the other one. Yeah, he was in. I'm not even sure. Like, I'm pretty sure he was just a recolored Cyrax with some ghetto missiles.
I think he was, yeah, definitely.
And then, and yeah, I guess he wasn't back till Armageddon after that.
I mean, anyone else noticed that his I think Sector's second costume in Armageddon's very quite reminiscent of his new one on MK9. It's got the whole sort of skinny armor looking thing as opposed to that,
Yeah, the more the flat face kind of look he had going on.
Yeah, definitely.
That was actually a pretty interesting costume, I thought.
It was alright. I didn't like it too much because it didn't have the old school head, so I was like, I'm not using that.
Yeah, the old school head's pretty iconic.
Old school is the way forward. But yeah, it literally was just coincidental really that we use those characters. I mean, I just like generally whenever I play a fighting game, I don't really look at the tiers. I just go with characters I like. Like when I play Street Fighter 4, I play as DJ and Gen, just because I like them as characters.
Oh, very cool.
It's the same with Mortal Kombat, really.
I mean, I respect character loyalty. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing the supposedly low tier characters like Cyber Sub and Noob.
Oh, Cyber Sub-Zero is sick.
It really is.
Noob Saibot's really good as well. A lot of people seem to be saying that Noob Saibot's overpowered because of his overhead tackle. I think that's fine, to be honest. I mean, it's like it now makes him a zoner, doesn't it? Even he's not an aggressive character because he's so bloody slow.
On one hand, I do think he's an aggressive character. On the other hand, this is kind of off topic, but if you think that zoning buff is broken, anyone who's hearing this right now, you are dumb.
Yeah, block high or low. I mean, you have forever and a day to look at what he's doing. I mean, the shadow tackle, he throws a man at you. How can you not see that?
I think we should get Kintaro for DLC. You should just throw people at people.
When I very first saw Kitara, I thought he looked a bit like Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, I said, just being a smartass. I remember playing it first day with a friend of mine, kind of my fighting game buddy there, and we got to Kintaro, and I'm just like, they're great. I couldn't pass it up. But, no, for some, I guess while we're on the subject of Noob Saibot, it's kind of an aside for a bit of the more you know moment. His overhead mix-up, or his overhead shadow now, it only really creates one mix-up situation, which is off a teleslam or a throw. Basically, if you land either of those, you traditionally have enough advantage to throw a low shadow. Basically, they have to either do an invincible wake-up that'll cut through it, or they have to block low when they recover. At that range, it's too close to fuzzy guard, so if they're blocking low in anticipation of a low shadow, then you can throw the high shadow, and that'll catch them with the overhead.
Okay, so it becomes 50-50.
Technically, they can get out because the high shadow takes longer to come out. They can get up a little quicker, but I don't think it's a big issue. But on the subject of other characters, you're known as being a pretty iconic Sector player. Like, everything about you says Sector. Your avatar says Sector, your signature has Sector, your name has Sector.
Well, I think I'm a humongous Mortal Kombat dork before I am a tournament player, so it's kind of like...
Fair enough.
I think, if there's something I like doing, I'm generally really enthusiastic about it, and just, Mortal Kombat's one of those things, just fighting games in general. But it's, I just think Sector's such a cool character, he's got the really cool voice, he looks really cool, he's got the really cool moves. I think he's got the best X-ray in the game, because it just looks so cool when he does it.
It is definitely one of my favorites.
It's just, as a character, I just think he's, I mean, I just thought, when the game came out, I just thought, no matter how bad Sector is, I'm just going to use him. So, I have done, really. I mean, I do play other characters as well. I mean, like, Smoke's my secondary at the moment. I'm learning. I mean, casually. I mean, before I went to Super Versus Battle back in August, I think it was. I didn't really have a solid secondary. I had like four other characters that I played on a casual level. Like, I also played Smoke, Noob Saibot, Nightwolf, and Striker as well. And I just thought, I thought they were fun to use, so I just used them. I didn't have a solid secondary though. It literally was purely just playing a sector at the level I was at. I just sort of decided after that I wanted to take up someone else. So I use Smoke now. I'm just trying to get to grips with him because he's really. I feel like he's unexplored. I mean, I know I'm probably going to get corrected by that, but it just feels like he has more that you can do. But I don't know. It's there are some characters that just feel like they've not had enough time in the lab yet. So I just try and crack them out.
I can kind of agree with that. I think if nothing else, he's at least underutilized. I feel like people aren't really using the tech that they know about.
Yeah, that's a better word. He's got those really cool things like you can obviously it's a no-brainer. You can get the teleport punches. Get it to deliberately whiff if they stand up. It's cool. But I mean, once that comes out, you can do like a down 3, and if that connects, it gives you a free 2, 1, 4, and then if that connects, or even if it's blocked, I think you can go into a Smoke Aura thing where he goes forward or back.
You can.
He's a good mindfuck character.
He's a very good mindfuck character because he's very mix-up dependent. I mean, off the 3 down 1 2 there, you can basically if they try to jump out after 3 down 1 2, you can down 1 them and it'll catch them jumping. You can then combo off the down 1 juggle. Really execution heavy, but. So then, of course, once they respect that, you can down 4, you can down 3, you can throw, you can 3 down 1 2 again, and kind of reset the mix-up. So, I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. I don't think he's so much unexplored because I think we know most of what he can do, but he's really underutilized because people aren't really pushing these mix-ups as far as they can go. So I kind of
I mean that's a better word, I think. Underutilized.
Yeah, so I kind of ride with you on that one.
But yeah, I mean, I was watching Devastation yesterday actually. That was cool. I enjoyed that.
Devastation was pretty cool.
It was. I mean, I've not actually been busy on Mortal Kombat this past week, so I've just been our university started again on the Monday, so I've pretty much just been solidly working on my unit. Really, it's not that I've not had time for Mortal Kombat. It's just that I think I took a break from it for a week, and I also used that as a time to really sort of just concentrate and crack out on my uni work and stuff. But it's just. I don't know. I think it was well needed. I think not being on Mortal Kombat for a week or so because I feel better about going back on it now. I was just sort of literally I think because it was the university break for like 4 months, and because most of our friends at uni were gone, they were at home for the summer. We had to stay to sort our passports out and whatnot, and Mortal Kombat was all we really had for entertainment. So you kind of wanted to pull your hair out by the end of it. It's a great game, but like any game, you really want to be playing them in moderation, really.
Yeah, you want kind of a break here and there.
Yeah, of course.
I was actually going to ask you what other characters you played, but you kind of answered that question for me, so I mean, we're good to go there.
Well, I'm trying to also play Noob Saibot. I mean, it's coincidence I think that I play Zoners. I'd love to pick up Sindel as well. She's bloody fun. She's fun to combo with, and it's fun to harass people with projectiles.
Yeah, honestly, I'm more afraid of a good Sindel than a good Kung Lao, because when I fight a good Kung Lao, I know this character. I know a lot of good Kung Laos. I can deal with this, but when I play a good Sindel, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I don't feel like they should have nerfed Kung Lao's low hat because I mean it's like people can disagree with me, but it was the whole thing that I think people just didn't know that if you blocked Kung Lao's low hat and then stood up and did your fastest jab, if you tried to do anything after that other than the down one, you'd pretty much you would definitely beat him. Like if I'm playing a sector and Kung Lao low hat, and then generally a Kung Lao player will then low hat and it instantly go for more pressure, and generally they'll try and spin you. If they think you're going to poke them back. If they do a low hat and then you block that and Sector goes for 1-2 back one, he'd pretty much just beat Kung Lao clean every time. He couldn't even spin, before you could do it.
Right.
They obviously nerfed his low hat, so Kung Lao's just blatantly, for the most part, just don't do the low hat anymore.
Well, I think this is a little known piece of information here. If people knew that Sonya's jab was 7 frames, and there's a 7-frame punish window on Kung Lao's low hat, you would have seen a hell of a lot more Sonya's before the patch, because people would have went, holy shit, I can punish this with 4 combos with
Yeah,
Sonya.
exactly. I mean, that's the way it worked. I mean, I think it was just Kung Lao's low hat got nerfed by popular demand, not by logic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair. He's still a really good character.
Yeah,
he doesn't need it.
He's a bloody good character. He's still got, his moves still have good properties. Well, his spin does.
Realistically speaking, I think it was nerfed because it did create a lot of bad matches with certain characters. Like, he just dominated certain characters that didn't have an attack under, let's say, 8 frames. So, you take Cybersub, for instance, or even Noob, they don't have down 1s faster than 6 frames. So, you can down 3 for the minuscule amount of advantage that gives you. But I think they just did it to kind of eliminate some of the bad matchups, get everything closer to the 5-5 and 6-4 territory.
Yeah, definitely.
Even if Cabal is still 7-3ing all the characters I play, like an asshole. But,
that's sod's law, isn't it?
Yeah. So in closing, I guess just to summarize, I have to ask now, are you the older or younger brother?
Oh, I am the younger brother by an hour.
So I have to ask now, did Mustard punch you in the arm for beating him? Because, I mean, the older brother, they can always do that.
Oh, no, I just made him make a cup of tea for the both of us. I said to Jake, you know what, Jake, before we do this, you do realise that whoever loses has got to make the tea like a bitch.
See, over in England, you're like so much more civilized than we are. Because over here, I mean, I bet when the CD brothers play, the winner's gonna punch the loser in the arm, and because those guys are so jacked, I mean, that I'd be terrified of that. I would never beat CD Junior in person, or even Crazy Dominican, I guess, because I look at these guys, and I'm like, these guys bench like 3,000 pounds. I don't want to beat them in person. They might get pissed off and rip my arms off.
We've got a few of those guys here. I mean, that's the thing about the UK tournament scene in general is there are some really not very known players in the UK that don't really get streamed often and don't get much footage, but they are bloody good. I mean, people don't know about them. There's just to list a few. I mean, there's there was Ryan Hart, for example, the European Street Fighter.
I definitely know him from Street Fighter. Yeah.
He played Mortal Kombat when it came out, and he literally hadn't played it much at all, and he played Cabal on release. And he was doing, a lot of sick stuff that I'd literally never seen before. But it was the matter of, I think there's a lot of players in the UK that actually don't play Mortal Kombat primarily. They play Marvel 3 or, Street Fighter.
Right.
They sort of dabbled in Mortal Kombat, but they were really good. And literally, they're the sort of people that, you find those players that they've got sick potential. They just need to play the game more. There are loads of them. I mean, there's a guy called Problem who's arguably the best noob Cybot I've ever seen. There's a guy called Clutch who was really good Jax. There's, like I said, Ryan Hart with this Cabal. There's some other players out there as well that just need to play the game more. I mean, that's the problem I think that the UK scene has at the moment is there are some good players in the UK, but primarily they don't really go to events. They play online. I mean, EGL's coming up, which is the European Gaming League in October this month. It's about it's either the 29th to the 31st or it's the 30th to the 31st. It's one of the two. It's pretty much it's a European tournament. It's primarily there for Halo Reach and Black Ops, but you've got Street Fighter, Marvel, and Mortal Kombat there as well. Unfortunately, I don't think me and Mustard will be able to attend that one because we're pretty much at the London Comic Con the same weekend. That's pretty much been planned for and paid for since May. I mean, it's we really normally, under normal circumstances, of course, would go to it, but I do strongly think we won't be able to attend this one, unfortunately, which is a bit of a bummer because I was, looking to attend it. But I mean, there are going to be some good UK players there, I think. Foxy Grandpa's going to be there, so he'll do bloody well, as he always does. There's a guy called Omega who's a Reptile player and a Jax player. He'll be turning up. I think, Problem and Clutch and that are going to be there as well. So you might be able, fingers crossed, you'll be able to see them in action. Helter Scout is going to be there as well. So
that'd be very cool. I'm hoping to see Use for Glue there, so I can see some cyber sub love overseas.
I think Use for Glue is gigging that way because he's pretty much he plays drums, for loads of bands to my knowledge, and he teaches he teaches somewhere as well. But he's pretty much, I think he's gigging that weekend, so he can't make it because I got mad props to Glue. He flies over from Ireland just to compete at London events, so.
Yeah, that's dedication.
He needs to have, a free time in his schedule for obvious reasons, really.
Man, what the hell is it with musicians and playing cyber sub? Pig of the Hut's like a recording guitarist. I mean, he's a drummer. I do guitar and vocals and a few other things on the side. I think we should just start a band. We'll be the cyber sub band.
Well, I think there's a lot of just Mortal Kombat fucking musicians. I think because I play drums as well. Mustard's a vocalist.
Oh, see, look at that. It's the robot players.
Yeah, but it's Nicholas, the Greek sector player. He plays drums as well, to my knowledge.
See, it's the robot players.
We're just the coolest, man. We're the best. Fuck everyone else.
Very true. Very true. Robot player master race.
But yeah, I think primarily when Mustard and I, were told that we're going to be on the Mortal Monday as opposed to the Dominican Brothers, for that week. We just thought, well, you know what? We play each other so fucking often. We may as well just try and... We tried as hard as we could to really put a show on everyone. We didn't really compromise things. We didn't drop combos deliberately. We didn't, do anything just to get hype. We literally just thought we'd just play as situational as we could. And we just, fingers crossed it was entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it was definitely a very nice set. fine substitute for the CD Brothers set, and we definitely have to give you major props for stepping up to the plate on such short notice.
That's cool.
Really got us out of a bind.
That's fine. Anytime.
And I'd also just like to say, I don't actually think the CD Brothers would rip my arms off in person. They seem like really swell guys. I'm just saying, I'd like... You know, you kind of have that fear.
Yeah, of course.
Like, this guy can lift me. Maybe I shouldn't piss him off. But I guess that wraps up. We'll have to hear from your brother shortly.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to me. And again, thanks for stepping up at such short notice.
That's fine, man. Anytime. Take it easy.
Take care.